And thank you, Ranking Member Graves. Next, we're going to go over to the Energy and Commerce Committee. The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Carter, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for recognizing me, and I thank all of you for being here. This is obviously something that is on the minds of our constituents. In fact, I asked my constituents. I put out a weekly newsletter, and last week I asked them, I said, how are high gas prices impacting you? Here's some of the responses I got. Mark from Blackshear, Georgia, can't afford to visit his kids and grandkids. Can you imagine? I mean, after all, we're coming out of the pandemic now. We haven't been able to visit, and now all of a sudden, because of gas prices, he can't even visit his kids and grandkids. Amanda in Long County is worried that she'll have to quit her job in home health because the commute is too expensive. I don't know if you know or have ever used the services of home health, but they are essential. And if we can't get home health workers there to visit people who are enclosed, they're going to go without healthcare services, which obviously is going to compound expenses for us and other things. Sam from Ellaville, he's having to cancel his Veteran Affairs appointments because he can't afford to get there. Having to cancel because he can't afford to get there. Kayla from Ware County summarized the pressure facing working class Americans saying, and I quote, "I can't afford to go to work, but I also cannot afford not to go to work." Go figure. We're forcing our seniors, our single parents, and our veterans to choose between groceries and gas, between a regular paycheck and regular fuel. President Biden says he can't do much about gas prices. Yet he used to say, the buck stops with me. So I thought I'd make it easy for him and lay out 4 things that are within his ability as Commander-in-Chief to do right now that will alleviate the strain his energy crisis, his inflation crisis are having on the American people. Number 1, end the federal freeze on all new oil and gas projects. Number 2, fast track pending LNG export permits. Number 3, expedite approval of all pipeline and energy development, including restarting the Keystone XL pipeline. And number 4, stop the regulatory assault on U.S. domestic energy production. Let's face it, America's last energy policies aren't working. They dip into taxpayers' wallet and line dictators' pockets. It's unbelievable. Over a year ago, just 15 months ago, we had energy independence under the previous administration. Now we're depending on, we've cut off Russia, and I'm glad we've done that, and I applaud the president for doing that. It took him too long to do it, but it's never too late to do the right thing, and he did the right thing. But now, what's the alternative? He's asking dictators in Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran to pump more oil so we can buy more oil from them. Makes no sense whatsoever. If we've learned anything from Ukraine whatsoever, it's the importance of energy independence to our national security. Now is the time for us to unleash our domestic oil production. And I call on President Biden to do that. Let me ask you, let's see who I'll ask. I wanted to ask Mr. Rydell, because you're with the Center for Liquefied Natural Gas. We had an LNG facility in my district, Elba Island, in Chatham County in Savannah, that was converted from an import facility to an export facility. Mr. Rydell, wouldn't this be one of the ways that we can provide our allies in Europe? Dr. Bouchard talked about Germany and how they're recognizing now that they don't want to be dependent on Russia for their energy sources, and the natural gas that they're getting from them, or potentially to be getting from them through the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Our natural gas is 40% cleaner, but converting these facilities like we did in Chatham County with Elba Island, converting these LNG import facilities to export facilities. Mr. Rydell, is that something that we could do in America and help our allies and help other countries in this world?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Congressman Carter. Yeah, the short answer is absolutely. We've converted not only Elba Island, but 5 other facilities as well to export LNG. We've got 7 that are operational right now, and we're sending already about 75% right now of our current LNG exports to Europe. But there is opportunity to do a lot more. There are 4 additional projects that the Department of Energy could take action on right now to approve and authorize additional volumes of natural gas and LNG exports to go not only to Europe, but to the rest of the world as well, that are also looking to shift to a cleaner solution like natural gas as part of their environmental efforts. There are 14 projects pending before the FERC for authorization. Obviously, as my colleagues have stated already on the call, there is an abundance of natural gas here in the United States, an abundance of supply, more than enough to satisfy domestic needs and also enough to help our allies and friends who are trying to wean themselves off of Russian gas, who are essentially being held hostage by Russian gas right now for their energy needs. And as mentioned in opening statements, are currently learning the hard way about the difficulty of moving away. But on the same token, Europeans are going to also have to take action. They're going to need outreach from members like yourself and others to encourage them to look at the United States as a solution to their energy needs, to build additional pipeline and receiving infrastructure for that LNG, or they're going to find themselves in sort of cold and dark winters for the foreseeable future, unless they're going to turn back to Russia for that energy needs. So yeah, thank you for the question.
Well, thank you, and thank all of you folks. This is impacting everyday Americans, and they can't afford it. It's impacting our world. We need to flip the switch. We need to start back with energy independence. Energy dominance. It was 2 sessions ago, didn't we pass a law to where we could export? Before that, we were only importing it. We had energy dominance and we threw it away. This administration, not we, but this administration threw it away. This is ridiculous. Thank you, Mr. Chair.